One thing that you had to deal with as a commissioner was Winter Storm Uri in 2021. Happened right after the legislature went into session, just upended Austin, Texas, upended the building over there, and and maybe the commission. I mean, it was just such a rare event, but such a catastrophic event. As you and I are recording this today, we're just on the tail end of another really not catastrophic, thank goodness, but another difficult polar vortex kind of weather event, Winter Storm Fern. Interesting name, I think. But Winter Storm Fern, this looks like a much better outcome than the last time. What does this look like from your perspective?
You know, every day, every time we have some weather episode, we convene and we talk to our producers, we talk to our pipelines, we talk to the electrical generators to make sure that everybody's kind of jiving and we're talking about any issues that may impede that production of electricity. We did that as a result of Winter Storm Uri. And to me, that's been the biggest number one success we've had in not going without electricity today. I'm so proud of what our producers have done, and not only just weatherization, but the ability to open up and communicate, hey, I may have a well today that I can't get a saltwater hauler to haul off the produced water on, so I can't produce unless I can haul the water off. You know, it's just little things like that, but it's communicated and we're open up and we're sitting across the table from electrical producers. I call it communication. and it was something I had not seen before Winter Storm Uri. So when people ask me, you know, what's the biggest success? Why haven't we gone through that whenever we have these harsh conditions like Winter Storm Uri? It's communication. I mean, that's been the biggest success. But again, it's the industry willing to sit down across the table, you know, and talk to those electrical generators about those issues where there wasn't that communication that existed before whenever Winter Storm Uri occurred. And you're right. You know, I was in office, I think, just about a month whenever Winter Storm Uri hit, and that gave me my first kind of experience in going down to legislation, because you had a lot of people back then that really didn't understand our industry, had a lot of crazy ideas on, you know, how not to, for Winter Storm Uri to occur again. And it took a lot of work from all three commissioners to go down and sit across from legislators and explain to them, this is how it works. And this, you know, what you're thinking about may or may not work. But I just want, you know, the job that I had was to go down and say, you need to understand exactly how we do things before you write down what you think we should be doing. And so I think the result of that legislative session really came out with some good legislation on the weatherization process. You know, I think we could have done maybe a little bit better, and I think we always will continue to do a little bit better. But the one thing I'm very proud of is we haven't been without electricity that I'm aware of. And this last Winter Storm Fern that we just experienced, or kind of still are, you know, we've had 7 or 8 of those events since Winter Storm Uri. They've all been successful. You know, we found ourselves in this last storm to have more natural gas in storage than we've ever seen in history. We've seen that the withdrawal out of that has been massive.